I don't know of a job interview that you could have gone on and delivered the performance that was delivered by Joe Biden and gotten a job.
The Obama and Clinton administrations who are plotting hourly to get him to withdraw quickly. Hillary Clinton is cracking jokes about how it's hard to take away Grandpa's keys while speaking to a private gathering of influential Democrats. And poor Joe can't even trust the people who work for him. His campaign staffers are leaking like crazy to the media.
Who privately are saying after 2 weeks since the debate that this just isn't something that he can turn around.
These aides have basically come to the conclusion of is that he does have to step aside.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about this big boy press conference that Joe Biden botched like so many other things recently. Now, I will admit that he did not botch this as bad, obviously, as the debate, which is an incredibly low bar. I can't believe people are even really making that comparison to try to say that he did good, because he definitely did not do good in this press conference, okay? As a matter of fact, prior to the press conference, he screwed up his speech prior to even getting started. So you can't even go into it with a clean slate because he screwed up earlier in the day by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine President Putin.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin.
As well as when he did finally start his speech, he called VP Kamala Harris VP Trump.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Okay, very stupid gaffes. Now you could say, oh yeah, people say stuff like this all the time. People confuse names all the time. It is absolutely true that people confuse names all the time. However, we are talking about a situation where people are already scrutinizing sleepy dementia Joe Biden, okay? Cadaver Joe, fossil Joe is already under intense scrutiny. You can't afford any mistakes if you're Joe Biden. It's that simple. You can't afford any slip-ups. And he still, you guessed it, slipped up like everybody expected. Not to mention throughout the entirety of the speech, he was fumbling and mumbling and bumbling and so forth.
I directed the intelligence community to be a significant amount of intelligence be declassified. The idea anybody suggests that look, folks, this is well, anyway, look.
Anyway.
Every answer ends with anyway after
Yes.
trailing off for a little bit.
Now, Fox News and I are in agreement, again, surprise, surprise, because they're saying that this was probably the worst possible outcome for Biden and the Democrats, because basically, seeing as how he didn't do terrible enough, they're going to have a very hard time completely getting rid of him, even if they should. Take a look.
Get out the popcorn and watch last night. It was, and so today we're the postgame show. A lot of Democrats who want him to go wanted him to really blow it. And he did. He made a lot of blunders, and there were a number of gaffes. That's why the New York Post right now, the headline says, Bumbling Biden gaffes his way through make or break Q&A. Any Dem convinced, blunder of the world. But it is like a purgatory because they wanted him to blow it, and he did just enough because the bar is so low.
I think he did fine. I thought he did fine.
That's right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If this was just a press conference, we would have said, oh, look, he made two mistakes. All right. But this is the worst possible scenario for Democrats. Yeah. Because he didn't blow, like he wasn't clueless. Right. There was no freezing moments. There was no, there was a typical Joe Biden miss-up. I mean, saying that Donald Trump was vice president, obviously terrible, but it's typical of Joe Biden when he announces he wants dead congresswomen to stand up, and when he tells people their spouse is dead when they're alive.
I 100% agree with this sentiment that if Joe Biden would have did poorly enough, it might have gave justification to like force him to have a cognitive test, force him out of the race, right? Something, you know, because obviously he's going to have more issues later. Like a lot of people are like, well, he did good enough, so I guess he can stay in the race. But what about if he speaks today? As a matter of fact, as of me recording this, I'm pretty sure he's speaking right now. Guaranteed there's going to be some gaffes there. There's going to be gaffes all throughout, all the way from now until the election. He's not going to stop, guys. Every single time he speaks, there's a video for me to make. Okay, probably multiple videos for me to make because he screws up every single time. It's not gonna stop. So it's foolish to say, well, because he did good in his big boy press conference, right? Like he's a big boy, like he did well, or he didn't do horrible enough, that therefore he should continue to run because he's gonna make it through, because he doesn't screw up horrifically every time, because he doesn't bomb every single time. That's good enough? That makes absolutely no sense. You want a candidate who is actually good and strong majority of the time. It is rare that they screw up. Not it's rare that they don't screw up. That's what you're looking at with Joe Biden. But there is a focus group here that CNN had where it's some swing voters, okay? Now these are Trump deranged voters, and I think majority of them have absolutely no sense. And I think people like this provide false confidence that Joe Biden can actually win. I don't think majority of people think anything like these women at all. But you'll see for yourself. I'll give my commentary along the way. Let's get into it.
Senator Gary Tuchman has been talking to a group of seniors in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gary, what have you been hearing?
A group of seniors, huh?
Well, I understand we are in the battleground state of Michigan, in the western part of the state. This is the Portage Senior Center, where seniors between the ages of 50 and 150 could come for exercise and fun. These ladies, we have 7 ladies here, all of them like Joe Biden.
None of them of 50 and 150. Age of one, like how old do people get in this country?
Some are voting for Donald Trump, but we want to see how they feel about the problems that Biden has been having.
Let me go back. They said none of them are voting for Trump.
We want to see how they come for exercise and fun. These ladies, we have 7 ladies here, all of them like Joe Biden. None of them are voting for Donald Trump, but we want to see how they feel about the problems that Biden has been having.
I'm not surprised. A bunch of old ladies who, for whatever reason, like Joe Biden. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And
keep going.
how they thought his news conference just went. Now, out of all 7 of you, how many of you think it was better than you expected, this news conference? How many think it was better than you expected it would be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of you?
That's a horrible sign right there. They thought it would be worse than that. Bro, he did not do that great, and he made it through the conference. He didn't blow it out of the water, but they thought it was going to be a catastrophe, and these are Biden supporters. That's insane. So that already tells you right there, they're expecting nothing from Joe. They're expecting him to not be Trump. That's all they need. That's insane.
I think it was worse than you expected it would be. How many of you think it was the same? So overall, it's a fairly positive review. I know we were watching it together. They all just got out of exercise class. So that's why they're dressed like that. I told you I would tell everybody that. But we were watching it together, and when he confused the names of Trump and Harris when talking about vice presidents, you all kind of gasped. But it got better, right? Is that what you think? Now, 4 of you, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of you think that Biden should be staying in the race. You told me you think that he should pass the torch. The 2 of you weren't decided. My question for you, you weren't decided before this happened if he should stay in the race. How do you feel now after watching this news conference?
Relieved, and I think he should stay in.
So your opinion's changed? From not sure to he should stay in?
Yes.
Okay, now just think about this for a second, guys. You got people who, 1 second, because of the debate, he should drop out. He has a better performance. Wait a minute, maybe I spoke too soon. What does that mean? You're going to change your mind again tomorrow? Guys, Joe Biden is who Joe Biden is. I got tons of videos on this channel. Check them out if you haven't seen them. Most of them pretty recently about Joe Biden gas, because he started coming out a lot and to a lot of events, and he cannot stand up to public scrutiny. He just cannot. There's gonna be plenty of more gaffes. Stay tuned on this channel. Look, subscribe if you want to see them all, okay? Because clearly this lady has not seen them. She's one of the people, I guess, is more mainstream Trump deranged people. And I don't think that she's a good reflection, not to mention not using her head if she thinks that this is a good indication, because a lot of people are going to tune in and they're going to see the next gaffe and the next one. You know, everybody's looking for it now, right?
And how about you? How do you feel? You weren't sure. How do you feel now?
Same. I think he's the logical choice.
Okay.
Hey,
Now
you should not use
thought he
that
should pass the
word
torch.
in your vocabulary. Like, logic, you think the logical torch. Girl, if you don't get like, imagine being this old and having no wisdom whatsoever.
How do you feel right now?
I still believe he should pass the torch.
And why do you say that?
I think he conveyed more defensiveness versus confidence, and I think we are really craving to be able to be confident about the candidate that we carry into the November election.
Let me go back.
Confident.
Okay, look at this lady's body language. She said we need confidence, strength, okay? We don't need some freaking wussy. Replace the W with a P, because that's what Joe Biden has come across as right now. Okay, we need somebody who is strong, not somebody who is out there literally shaking in his boots at the thought of taking a cognitive test. The dude refuses to take a cognitive test. Donald Trump took 2 cognitive tests. Where the hell's Joe's cognitive test? He refuses to take. I take a cognitive test every day. I'm taking one right now. Joe Biden is called a test for a reason. Okay, like imagine if you do a job, but there's a certification required. Like imagine if you fly planes all the time, but you never got your license. Would you want to be on that person's airplane? I mean, they fly all the time. We'll be fine, right? I mean, they don't have a license, but it's okay. I'm sure they know how all the little buttons and contraptions and everything works, right? I'm sure they understand it all. No, take the damn test.
Then about the candidate that we carry into the November election.
How did you feel about this news conference just now? Did it give you more confidence in Joe Biden?
I have all the confidence that I did yesterday. So I just...
Were you confident yesterday?
Yeah, because everybody has a bad day, and I could see that he...
That's cap, and you know.
...was sick, but for some reason, they decided to do...
With that, I think what came across was that of what he is. Joe Biden is very caring about people. He's very knowledgeable and experienced, and he's not just out for himself, that he really cares about the country.
Wow, you are saying that Joe Biden, a guy who is getting decimated in the polls, is not out for himself? Lady, whatever drug you've been smoking, I want me some, because it must be some good-ish. The only reason that Joe Biden's even in is so he can protect himself and his legacy. He wants to be a 2-term president. He wants to die having been a 2-term president. He doesn't want to go down like, oh man, I'm a failed 1-termer. And so that he could possibly get his crackhead son out of prison if it comes down to that, which there's a strong possibility that it will, because he got some serious charges on him. That's the only reason, and because his corrupt wife wants to be in control. That's the reason. You're saying this guy's not out for himself? These people are delulu. Let's keep going.
Chance that you would be more confident with the Kamala Harris or your governor here, Whitmer, here in the state of Michigan.
Right. Yeah. I think Joe Biden did an excellent job.
During this news conference.
Mm-hmm.
But was there any part of you before this that said, I'm not so sure that I can still support him and I want another Democrat?
I've always been confident in him.
Any of you going to be watching the Republican National Convention? It starts Monday. No hands going up.
This is the issue right there. These guys they prefer to live in a bubble, in a vacuum. On this channel, what do you guys see? You guys see clips from MSNBC, CNN, Fox, TYT. There's some far leftists at TYT. Breaking Points, CBS, ABC. I do it all on a Black Anomaly Rising channel. These old hags want to live in their bubble. No offense if you're an old hag watching it. I'm picking on these old hags. Okay, I got old people in my family. I love them, okay? So don't trip. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's crazy what they're saying. They're like, no, we're not going to. I'm going to watch the DNC one. I want to see what the hell's going on with the country. There's a good chance that Donald Trump's going to win. These people they're not even going to know what the hell's going on.
Democratic National Convention 5 weeks after that? Okay. Not all these people are Democrats, some are independents, but they all like Joe Biden.
Boy, that's cap.
That's cap. That's cap. That's cap.
Everybody and their mom says that. Oh, independent, like lies. If Donald Trump was effing up, I'm out of there. But he's Teflon Don. He's the GOAT. Okay, there's a reason why I support Trump. These people will support blue no matter who, because all that's going to happen next election is they're going to say that Ron DeSantis, he's probably the most likely pick for next election for presidential nominee. They're going to call him the boogeyman too. He's banning books. Don't say gay bill. They're going to go crazy about something, and they're going to have pictures of him with Donald Trump. They're going to say he endorsed Donald. It's MAGA 2.0. It's MAGA light. I guarantee you this stuff never ends. In the fact that these people have been through life, the likes of which has been upwards of 2, maybe even 3 times longer than me. And they don't realize how media propaganda works, and that maybe you should listen to both sides of an argument and then make your conclusion, is sad and pathetic. A waste of a lot of years of wisdom that should have been developed. Instead, it's been taken over by media propaganda. They've been watching a lot of MSDNC. I can assure you of that, especially if they thought that Joe Biden won this, because he absolutely got smoked. I haven't seen him speak and not make some sort of gaffe or mistake in years now. Years. Every single time he speaks, there's some sort of major gaffe that he makes. I don't think that there's enough people like this that are just going to accept Joe Biden's flaws and just vote for him anyway. I don't think there's enough people like this. But we're going to see. Come this November, it don't seem to me like the Democrats are too confident. They're trying to usurp him. The politicians are trying to usurp Joe. So they know that these hags ain't enough. We shall see in November, though. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that enough people are Trump deranged to push even Sleepy Joe into a W, into a victory, regardless of the polls, regardless of his disastrous debate and gaffing every single time he speaks? Or do you think that Teflon Don's taking it home in a landslide? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black and I'm Blue Rising channel. I'm out.
As it relates to Biden, Sean, he's done. Biden is done. This is just a question of price. They're negotiating the exit package. I mean that metaphorically, if not literally. That's what that looks like. The reality is the coordinated nature of this is what's problematic. This is an ideological cartel. It's not a cartel of products. It's a cartel of ideas. And here's how you know that. If this had really been about Joe Biden's health and their journalistic concern about it, you wouldn't have seen everybody shift at the exact same time.